In this video, we're going to see how we can work with layers in AutoCAD. So layers are used for managing and organizing your project. So they are actually a project management and organization tool. And also, as anticipated in other videos, layers can be helpful to distinguish various parts of your project, like external walls or interior walls or stairs or doors and windows and so on. But they are also useful when you need to print your project in the final part, and they can also be helpful if you need to export everything in 3D and then you need to extrude these simple lines into actual 3D solids to create something in 3D. So how do we get here? You can see here I've already started to create some layers. So I'm going to show you all those previous steps. I'm just going to go back here to the previous lesson, which was lesson 7. This is where we used some lines and arcs to recreate, using vector graphics, what we had in the picture down below there. So we created everything, all the lines here, into a single layer, which was layer 0. Now, all the part concerning the layers is right here. So if I click, I can see that I already have a lot of layers, and this is because I've imported these from Revit. So I've exported from Revit a plan view and then imported here. And when you do that, it's gonna bring all the layers with it. So we don't need all those layers, we're gonna create our own. So in that case, I copied only this content here with copy and paste. So you can go here and do basically copy or Ctrl+C, and then I have pasted right here. Now you have different type of paste. You can do Ctrl+V and paste it wherever you want, or you can paste it into the original coordinates. This will bring the project exactly where it is placed from the previous project. You can see the same distance from the origin is going to be there. And also you have paste special, when you can select something that you want and not want to paste. And then you have paste as hyperlink, so two things will be like linked together, not imported like this, or paste as block. Now block and groups are other ways you can organize and manage your project, but we are going to talk about those later. Now let's focus on this one here. And usually the first thing I do is divide the references, so the images, from the rest of the project, because once I have traced everything, once I have converted everything into vector graphics from pixels, I don't really need that image there anymore. It's just a distraction. And with layers, you can definitely avoid distractions. You can turn off whatever you don't need and make it invisible. This is one of the best features of layers here, and also in other software like Photoshop or Illustrator and so on. So the most important panel in the layers part here will be the layer properties. You can also expand this and find some extra tools down here, and these ones are basically what you do using the layer properties, but we will see some of those, some secondary functions as well, but the main part is right here, layer properties. So I'm gonna click there, and it's going to open up this panel, and I'm going to expand it a little bit. There you go. And you can also work on these columns by clicking and expanding them a little bit. Okay. Now again, you can see that I have already some colors here and some layers, but this one here, it's only one layer. So don't look at those, because we're gonna create a new one just right here, and then once you understand how it's done, you can create all the others. So to create a new layer, it's pretty easy. You just click on this little icon, which is kind of a pile of papers and with a star. So you can also press Alt+N on your keyboard, and this is gonna generate a new layer. And I'm going to call this reference image. Okay, so the first thing you can do is give a name to the layer. And if you want to change it, just double click, one click to change the name, double click if you want to make this current. So this means that from now on, you're not gonna work with the 0 layer, but with the reference image layer. Also double click if you want to switch to the 0 layer again. 0 layer is the one that you're always gonna find. So if you start from scratch, if you start from 0, that's the only one that you're gonna have. So I've created the layer. Let me go here and select the image. And then I can do two things. I can go back to home and go here in the layers, click on this drop down list of layers or drop down menu, drop down panel, and then select the layer where you want to place this element that you have selected. So you can also roll over those, and those are going to be highlighted, and you can see that some of these are thicker in terms of lines than the other, but I'm going to explain that later, don't worry. But in this case, let's just place it here in reference image. So right now I've placed that object into this layer, and I can also change here the color so that we can see that more clearly. Okay, now let's press ESC, and you can see that that border has turned green. This means that this has changed layer. Now if I want to deactivate or turn off the visibility of this layer, I can go here in this column and say, okay, turn this off. This will turn that layer off, and this is the first feature that we have in layers. It's really important because it's gonna make you concentrate on parts of your project and activate or deactivate according to your needs. And this is really a powerful management tool because it's gonna really make things really easy for you. So the next thing we can do now is create other layers and assign all these different parts of the project to the other layers. And this is what I've basically done here. I've created a bunch of layers. So first thing, create the layer, give a name, and then, well, let's expand this a little bit so you can read what's up here. And then I usually go straight to the color. So you can also click and drag these columns around if you want to reorganize the columns, and then you click here and you assign a color. So just as we did for the reference image, by the way. And then you can use this index color, true colors, or color books, and you find a lot of pre-made Pantones and things like that. Okay. So you can click there and assign it. And you can turn on and off that layer how many times you want. Now, a second thing that I can do to work with layers is use the quick properties, because as soon as I select something, it's going to open up this quick properties panel, and here it's going to tell me which layer I'm working on and the color of that layer. So I can assign a layer from here, and this is a railing, so I'm going to select railing, but also I can override because I'm working right now with these lines. So let's say that you can work using all different assets in your project, and you can change the color of the layer, and it's gonna affect all those elements inside those layers. Or you can work elements by